What is it like to try to sketch someone's soul? Editorial cartoonist Steve Brodner has been trying to do just that every day for years. The pandemic compelled the artist to draw hundreds and hundreds of images of America's COVID pain and suffering, and of the politicians who pushed democracy to the brink. For so many Americans, when the pandemic started, the world shut down. But that's when illustrator and editorial caricaturist Steve Brodner picked up his pen.
Every day you'd see in the paper all of these names and these faces, so I said, let me draw some.
And how did you decide? Because it was literally thousands of people dying every day. How did you decide which story to tell?
At first it was just whatever was giving me the strongest kind of emotional reaction.
Brodner was moved by the stories of COVID's first victims and the harrowing images he could not get out of his head, such as a young doctor in Alabama.
She's treating young people.
Yeah.
And they're coming into her hospital, and they're unvaccinated.
She says one of the last things they do before they're intubated, which is often one of the last things that they would do to somebody before they died, is beg me for the vaccine. I hold their hand and tell them that I'm sorry, but it's too late.
She had to do this many, many times.
Every day, Brodner picked a person or an image and drew it for hundreds of days, and he's still drawing. His work has now been published altogether in a new book, Living and Dying in America.
Here's one on page 3. It's President Trump yelling at a bunch of graves. How can you do this to me?
That's maybe my favorite cartoon as a cartoon in the whole book, because it's all about his victimhood. Nobody's a bigger victim than he is.
You definitely don't like him, but you definitely like drawing him. It's enjoyable for you to draw him.
Well,
he has a lot of great features.
The thing is, it's enjoyable in a way in which you feel that you have to address something that's gone wrong with the world, you know. He was president of the United States. He was supposed to take care of people. He was supposed to look after his people. And he looked after one person. And that's where our troubles began.
Brodner also drew the Black Lives Matter movement, ignited by the violent deaths of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and so many more. And his work took on an even darker feel politically after the attack on the U.S. Capitol on January 6.
Somebody I've interviewed a few times, been my honor to interview him, is D.C. Capitol Police Sergeant Aquilino Ganell, who you capture so well here in this image.
So when you're drawing a face, there's a thing that happens if it's going well. You're getting into the soul a little bit. You're getting into, you're not just trying to capture the character, you're trying to capture the feeling the person has. What is that person going through? How do the contours of the face give you a key into what's going on in the internal life of the person?
You know, it's hard not to read this book and to have lived through it all and continue to feel hopeful.
The reason to express outrage about what's happening is because you love your country and you want to improve things. You believe, you know, the cartoonists have this kind of crazy idea that if you just do the perfect picture, you do the right image, it'll change the world.
The war in Ukraine and the discovery of mass graves following the Russian retreat from a city in the northeast. Officials there say they've recorded evidence of more than 30,000 war crimes. ABC's Tom Sufi-Burridge is in Kharkiv.
This morning, chilling evidence emerging of a Russian killing spree in northeastern Ukraine. Our team visiting a mass burial site with hundreds of wooden crosses in a forest in Izium, a city recently liberated by Ukrainian forces.
The forensic teams are working in one small area of this woodland, but the wooden crosses stretch right down here, row upon row upon row, and on this side too. We're told 17 Ukrainian soldiers in a mass grave here, and most of the wooden crosses only have numbers.
Officials saying some of the victims show signs of torture. ABC News there to witness investigators carefully dig up bodies.
Well, the forensic team here have just removed the body of a man from one of the unmarked graves, and it's obvious that he had his hands tied behind his back.
Overnight, Ukraine's Prosecutor General saying more than 34,000 war crimes have now been recorded throughout 6 months of war. President Zelensky saying torture, a widespread practice when Russia ruled part of the Kharkiv region, saying many torture chambers have now been found in newly liberated land. Sergei's friends and neighbors, more than 40 people and entire families killed by a missile strike in the days after Russia invaded Ukraine.
How does that make you feel?
I feel nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing. From the first day of war, every day we saw bodies, but now empty.
Well, overnight, President Zelensky saying they found multiple torture chambers in those areas under Russian rule. Officials saying the exhumations of hundreds of bodies from that mass burial site in Izium will probably take weeks. Janae?
Disturbing discoveries, Tom. Thank you.
All right, breaking just moments ago, the entire island of Puerto Rico is now out of power as a powerful Category 1 hurricane barrels through the island. Want to bring in national correspondent George Solis, who is in Puerto Rico as we speak. George, talk to me. What have you been seeing there as this storm progresses?
Yeah, Yasmin, conditions continuing to deteriorate here as Fiona barrels Puerto Rico. Category 1 storm. This is a slow-moving storm, slow to arrive, but now that it is here, it is delivering intense wind and rain. You can actually see some of those palm trees behind me as they are starting to sway, many of them snapping like twigs in some cases. We're seeing some of the tree debris on the other side of where we are actually falling on some cars right now, and this is only projected to get much worse. And you mentioned the power grid. Yes, there is no power across the island of Puerto Rico right now. And this is one of the main concerns that a lot of the residents had, especially as we approach the 5-year anniversary of Hurricane Maria, which battered that power grid. Many wondering if this storm would be able to knock out power. Evidently, we now have the answer. Officials here say they are scrambling to try and get power restored. But of course, officials are thinking about their safety too. Conditions not safe to be out in right now. And right now, officials from across the municipalities here in Puerto Rico are urging residents to stay put as Fiona continues its assault on the island right now. This storm is delivering some incredible gusts for a Category 1 hurricane. We're looking at 80, 90, even 100-mile-per-hour winds that are gusting at this moment. And the waves also crashing through the seawalls here. We've seen waves already cascading over the wall. So we're being battered with some serious conditions, and that's not even mentioning the threat of flash flooding out here and mudslides. So there's a lot happening right now. The first real hurricane to impact this island in quite some time, and people here, they weren't underestimating it. Some said, yeah, you know what, we have our supplies, we're ready for this.
Yeah.
But we're really starting to see and feel the effects of this hurricane. Many hopefully taking those precautions and staying safe at this time.
Here's the thing. There are some parts of Puerto Rico that still haven't even necessarily recovered from Hurricane Maria, despite the fact that it was 5 years ago. So I'm just wondering, as you mentioned, authorities there telling folks to stay put now that the storm has reached the island. What did they do to prepare residents for something like this, considering the absolute devastation that happened during Hurricane Maria?
Yeah, officials certainly trying to get ahead of any damage that this storm might bring after the event is over. A disaster declaration approved by the president today. So they are putting the framework in place for whatever this storm might bring. And the governor on television daily providing updates, letting people know what this storm might bring, letting them know not to underestimate this storm. Ironically, on Saturday, as he was delivering the update about the intensity of this storm and what it could bring, the power actually went out during that press conference. So sort of a little foreshadowing as to what to expect, what Fiona actually struck. So again, everyone here has been put on notice. So right now, officials hoping that people here are heeding their warnings and staying put. Yasmin?
Yeah, we hope everybody stays safe. And George, you and your crew stay safe as well. I know it's important to cover the storm, but of course, your safety is first and foremost. Thanks, George. Appreciate it.
Today, the final countdown to the final farewell to Queen Elizabeth II. Floral tributes inside her Windsor Castle home moved to line the path inside the gates. This is where the Queen's funeral cortege will bring her coffin Monday to lay her to rest at St. George's Chapel. The funeral will begin with a procession from Westminster Hall to Westminster Abbey. Some mourners have been camping out since Friday for a front row seat.
Temperatures on these cold, hard sidewalks have been unforgiving the past few nights. However, the early campers tell me they couldn't miss the opportunity to see the royal funeral.
This will never happen again in my lifetime, so I don't want to miss it.
1 million people are expected to crowd central London streets to catch a glimpse. 500 heads of state and dignitaries from around the world are expected to attend. President Biden and First Lady Jill Biden already here paying their respects, signing the official condolence book, and then joining world leaders for a reception at Buckingham Palace.
You were fortunate to have had her for 70 years. We all were. The world's better for her.
London now preparing for the most challenging police event in its history. The threat ranging from pickpockets to terrorist attacks. Meanwhile, thousands are still in line to see Queen Elizabeth's flag-draped coffin. The queue closing before the funeral to allow those already in line to pay their respect. At times, the line has stretched for 5 miles, with the wait upwards of 24 hours. But those who've come out after seeing the coffin tell us it was well worth it.
She was amazing. And I just felt like I had to show my respects.
Jennifer Mills-Knudsen is part of the faith team comforting some of the mourners as they walk out.
A lot of them are here because they are also grieving the loss of those that they've loved, who loved the Queen. And so they're grieving both for those that they've lost and for the Queen herself.
And there was a moment of silence across Britain earlier today. There will be another one for 2 minutes following tomorrow's funeral. In London, Faith Abube, ABC News.